Hey, what's up guys? It's Art Book Addiction here, and we're here with a new artist journey video. So today, we're going to be talking about design versus copying, right? So in the artist journey, there are many skills that you'll be learning as you become better and better, right? As you progress. There's like learning how to draw well, right? Composition, placement, composition is placement, color, right? And those are big skills. Okay, those are I want you guys to view those as like little micro skills, okay, because they're little bits that become part of the whole, right? So I want you guys to see that, and what we're talking about are macro skills. Okay, these are the two skills that encompass all those little skills, right? So there's copying and there's design, right? Those are the two macro skills you'll be learning, right? All those little skills are there to help build the big skills, right? And understanding the difference between the two can really help you adjust to your skill level, and maybe like you're better at one than the other, right? And maybe you'll understand where you need to build. Okay, so that's what we'll be talking about today. But before we start the video, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my prints and Patreon if you want to support the channel, all that bullshit. And now let's get into it. So when we first start drawing, when we first start creating, the first skill that we go for is copying, right? So copying is, just like you have a real object, or you have like maybe like some kind of poster or a character design that you're copying, right? You're not creating, you're copying, right? And being able to copy well is an essential skill, right? It is like I said, the first skill that you're learning, and that's the first ladder that you're kind of climbing, right? Some people, they may start, designing right away. But in most cases, when you're first starting out, you're just trying to copy what you see in the world, right? And that's good, because copying is a powerful skill. Some people only copy, right? And they learn how to, copy better, or they copy and they add like their little flair, little style, right? That's more like kind of like a fine art skill, right? It is the base skill that you learn, right? Now, the second skill, designing, okay? Designing is where you take an idea and you bring it to the world, okay? Or you're like, okay, I have this idea that I want, right? And I want to bring it out, but the problem is designing requires copying. Okay, so let's say like you want to do like a poster of like a soldier like holding up, like a grenade or something, right? So designing requires that you know how to draw a soldier, right? Draw the human figure, right? Draw the grenade, right? So all those things are things that you need to have copied before previously, right? And being able to know those skills can really help what you're designing, basically. Okay, so let's say like I said, you have the thing, right? So you get the pose, okay? Then you get the soldier's outfit, okay? Do you know how to design the folds, right? How do you learn how to design those folds, right? You learn by learning how to copy, right? So you get reference, and then you could copy that, and then boom, you could create convincing folds, right? So what I'm trying to say is that design is requires copying, okay? But copying doesn't necessarily require design, okay? Because when you're just copying, of course you could learn how to, you want to take the good picture, compose it correctly, right? But once it's set, then all you have to do is just copy, right? But design, I would say, is a higher skill, okay? But it requires, like I said before, copying, okay? So understanding that's the order of things, okay? So copying, design, okay? You need this to do this, okay, right? But you don't need this to do this, okay, right? But they can help you inform each other, all right? Design is a higher skill. So that's why if you're doing like a character design, okay, let's say like you're really good at like doing portraits, doing like copying like a still life, right? But when you try to make like a character, right, you're like, what, like this is so hard, I don't know how to do this, okay? um and you're like, well, I could draw this super realistic thing, but I can't design this cartoon character, right? That's because it's two different skills. Do you understand, right? And like some people will admire the other because it's something that they can't do, right? The best artists can do both, okay? Actually, the best artists require both, right? So in your artist journey, knowing that difference is going to be a huge deal, okay? Because when you're working, okay, when you are in school, you're going to see other artists who are good at one or the other, or good at both, okay? That ideally, right? You're going to find people who like maybe they really suck at copying like this realistic photo, okay, and then like bringing it to life, okay, but they're really really good at making like cartoon stuff, making animation, making a character feel alive, okay, because they've built that skill, okay. And vice versa, you see people who are super good at copying, okay, and they could copy it like perfectly and make it really really good, okay. That's a skill that I built at first, okay. Copying was something that I was really good at, okay. But I was terrible at designing a character, okay. I didn't know how to draw cartoons for years, until like probably like my third year in art school, right? You know, what I would do was I would copy, I wouldn't like copy the design, but I would like copy the language of the design, okay. So that like, oh, okay, I want to make characters that look like this style, okay, and I'm gonna put my own little flair on it, right? So like whatever show, you know, like Fairly Odd Parents, you know, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna use their style, but put my, like, to create my characters, okay. But that's not really designing, is it? That's the base, right? You start that way and you want to evolve, okay. So knowing the two different things is really really important, because it will allow you to understand what skills you need to build, okay. So if you're bad at copying, okay, that means you're gonna have to practice more. That means you're gonna have to learn how to draw real world objects, okay. You're gonna need to learn how to compose like I said, real life objects, or being able to translate that real life object into whatever you're making, right? So what does that mean? Okay, so I see a lot of designers, I see a lot of like character designers, they may be really good at characters, but they're horrible at like props, and they're horrible at environments, okay, because those two heavily require being able to copy well, okay. So like oh, I could draw this character really well, you know, I could draw in my style, but like I can't, like the backgrounds, I'm horrible at it, right? I want to make this crazy cool weapon, but I don't really know how to do that, okay, because it requires too much perspective knowledge, too much, you know, like design knowledge, and like you don't, and you need reference to maybe make it feel more believable, okay, instead of just like something that's like, oh, cartoon, you know what I mean, right? Because you have a lack of the copying skill, right? And vice versa, right? If you are someone who's good at copying, right, you're gonna try to make a character and you're gonna wonder why like I like it, but there's just really no appeal to the character, right? That you haven't learned to like emphasize aspects of the character, right? Like something that I used to do a lot, right, is when I would draw characters, I would always give them like just regular human proportions, okay. And that's not really fun, is it? Right? Like, animators know that if you want to make a cool character, you gotta emphasize parts of their body, right? Like for example, like if you want to make a really buff, huge character, right? You want to make his whole torso big, right? But you also want to shrink the head, okay, right? So most people, they would just bring the head up with the body, and it just makes them look like they're just like a short, stocky guy, right? But it's like, no, I want them to look tall. I want them to look huge, right? So you gotta shrink the head, okay? And that's just like more design knowledge. You get what I'm saying, right? So knowing these two skills and how they play with each other, right, can help you make the best designs, right? So like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I draw very cartoon, okay, but I would like to make my characters higher fidelity, right, more convincing, right? And especially with rendering, okay, because there's people who struggle very hard with rendering, okay, and those are people who are like, you know, they're really good at design, right? They're like, they know how to design stuff, right? But they're very bad at making it look final, right? Making it finished looking, right? Making that design really sing with a final paint job, right? And that's where you can learn stuff from copying, okay? Because you're like, how do I make this, like let's say like your character has like a grenade or something right here, and you're like, I want to make it look like military realistic, okay? But you can't do that because you don't know how to render to that level, right? That's where copying can come in and help you. You get reference, right? And you're like, okay, I want it to be exactly like that, right? And like, okay, you have your grenade, right? But the lighting is different from your reference, right? And so that's where you pull from your design knowledge, okay? So that you're able to move the light, right, to what you need. All you need is the reference and how it works, right? But it requires that you've copied a bunch of those things. You've learned how to copy. You learn how to make metal look like metal, right? And then you learn how to by design move the light, right? And so see how the skills are like intertwining to make the thing that you want, right? They require both, okay? And then once you've learned, okay, I know how to do the light, okay, I know how to do the texture, and I know how to do the render, okay, and I have the referenced, and I know how to do the copying, okay, then you could place the thing correctly and make it look convincing, right? So, you know, and that's not to include the knowledge of color, knowledge of render, you know, those are, like I said, the smaller skills, right, to build those bigger skills. So once you have all that, then you can make something of that high fidelity, okay? And you know, people, your level of fidelity changes depending on what you want, right? But if you really want to get to that high fidelity, if you want to make that art that's like that you're like, I want this really high skill level thing, okay, you need to build those skills. You need to have both, okay? And the best artists have both, okay? So remember that all these skills that you build are here to build the big skills, okay? The copying and the design. And remember that there is the order. Copying is below design, okay? I'm not saying that it's like a lesser skill, okay? I'm saying that design is a harder skill, okay? Because it comes from the mind, okay? We can't just simply imagine like a perfectly rendered wrench, okay? And like, understand that design, when it comes to the mind, it's not perfect, okay? You only have like the rough idea. That's why cartoons are so simple, because the brain doesn't allow for like all the details to be placed perfectly, you know? And like, in a way, you don't want it to be, because you're kind of you're discovering the design, you know what I mean? You're discovering what you want to create. But to be able to take the image of the mind and bring it into the real world, and make it believable, requires copying, okay? Because you're like, okay, well, I want to make the thing. How do I make it convincing? Copying. There you go. So, but to understand that those skills are separate, okay, and like that you're maybe good at one or good at the other, right, means that like you have to bridge that gap, okay? So knowing that, okay, like I said, if you're good at copying, get better at design, okay? If you're good at design, get better at copying, okay? Like I said, when the skills meet in the middle, is when your art will truly sing, okay? And that's how you make really beautiful, convincing, high fidelity artwork, okay? So take those skills, learn the opposite, get better, and good luck on the artist journey, all right? I think we can end the video here, guys. Please, if you enjoyed that video, hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my prints and Patreon if you want to support the channel, ring that bell for notification, leave a comment, tell me how you guys feel about design versus copying. Are you better at one versus the other? Tell me, let me know, right? Do you not even know that there was a differentiation between the two, right? Just let me know in the comments down below. All that bullshit, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.